I've read dozens of books on time management and productivity. I've listened to hundreds of hours worth of podcasts and YouTube videos on how to manage my time effectively and get more done in a day than an average person. With the extra 20 hours a week, I've been able to eat healthy, start my fitness journey, obviously read a lot of books, work, start my YouTube channel, and also maintain a social life. So in this video, I'm gonna give you guys 5 simple tips that I use every single week to make sure that I save 20 plus hours a week. The first one, acquiring time management help. This is one of the things that a lot of people don't do. We feel like we have to do everything by ourselves. We are living in a new era, a new dawn of day. There's no reason why you have to go to the grocery store and spend an hour, 30 minutes there, probably spend extra money just to get your groceries. There's so many apps that you can use to order your groceries. I'm not even talking about paying for them. You can do that for free and literally sit outside the store. They'll bag it for you and bring it to your car. Another one that does cost a little bit of money, but find paper utensils. When you are trying to especially start something new, or you start a new job, or you start a new business and you don't have time, you have to pay attention to the little things in your day that take away your time. Washing dishes. Y'all, I am a paper plate advocate. I don't care what anybody says. I know it's not aesthetically pleasing, whatever the case may be. I live for paper plates, paper utensils. They save me so much time. So now the only thing I honestly wash is like my pots and my pans, the big things. But it doesn't seem like a lot. But if you take in the amount of time it takes you to wash those dishes and dry those dishes, and how many dishes do you wash a week? Those are incremental little things. I've even done things such as my laundry bin is color coordinated. So it saves me so much time because every time I wash a load, I already have all the colors organized. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm telling you, it's the little things that add up to the big things. Time management tools honestly save me 5 hours a week. So 5 hours a week, I am using resources outside of myself that help me do the things that I want to do. Number 2, habit stacking. This one is very imperative that you know how to do it properly. So you should not try to habit stack 2 things that you don't want to do. If you know you don't want to listen to podcasts and you also don't want to go to the gym, don't listen to podcasts when you go to the gym because you already don't want to do that thing. An example of trying to mix 2 things together, one that you already do and then mix with one that you want to start, is last year I used to live with 2 roommates, 2 of my friends, and we used to do something called Wind Down Wednesday. So we all wanted to get a little bit more active, but every time everyone came home from work, we just sat on the couch and talked. Instead of sitting on the couch and talking, we put on a workout little video that we can copy, and we did that every single Wednesday when everyone came home. The idea behind it is that we're stacking 2 things. We already talk, we already sit on the couch, we already just communicate with each other. Okay, let's mix it with something we want to do. We want to get more active. The idea behind it is that you do things that you already were gonna do, and you don't really need to take much thought into it, right? Mixing it with something that you kind of don't really want to do. So when you get home from work and you're talking to your friends, sitting on your bed, sitting on the couch, how about you wash dishes? How about you wash clothes? How about you fold clothes? How about you cook? The amount of time that we waste because we convince ourselves we only have to do one thing at once is so crazy. This right here saves me about 5 hours a week. Anytime I'm on the phone, anytime, literally, I barely clean my bathroom, like do a full cleaning, because I don't know why it takes so long, but when it takes time for my shower to warm up, which takes about like 1 to 2 minutes, it doesn't seem like a long time. But during that time period, I just pick up little stuff in my bathroom. Maybe I gotta refill up my toilet, my toilet paper roll. Maybe I want to clean the inside of the sink. But you got to think about that. I shower every single night. So 7 days a week, I am slowly doing little things. So I don't really have to do a big clean. I know that was kind of random, but this has saved me so much time because I don't differentiate my fun time versus the time where I have to do stuff that I don't want to do. And like I said, this one saves me approximately 5 hours a week. So start habit stacking. The things that you already do, you already be stuck in traffic. Why don't you listen to a podcast or a book? You already got to take the bus when you go to work. Why don't you put on something like a YouTube video? You get what I'm saying? Something that you wouldn't normally do, but you're doing it with something that you always normally do. Number 3, time blocking. This one is very important because of the Parkinson law. The Parkinson law states, work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. Now, this was made famous, this law, by Cyril Northcote Parkinson, who was a British historian and author during the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and I also believe 70s. And basically, in this law, he's saying you expand the amount of time needed to do something to the amount of time you told yourself it was going to take to complete it. So for example, if you tell yourself, hey, the gym, I'm going to have to be here for, an hour to get all the work done that I need to get done. It's going to take you an hour. But if you tell yourself, I can get this done in 45 minutes, it's only going to take you 45 minutes. You literally can do the same workout. You can do the same thing, but it's because you time blocked it and you told yourself you have to stay focused and you have to do this thing. And oftentimes we don't. And this actually happened to me a little while ago. I had a engagement that was earlier in the day. And so I was like, okay, when I go to the gym, I only could be here for 45 minutes, but I still want to have a good workout. Usually it takes me about an hour and 15 minutes, give or take. I literally did the same exact workout, the same exact stretches, everything in 45 minutes. Why? Because I time blocked it. I told myself, you have to stay focused. You have to do this. And then I thought about the time periods when I take an hour and 15, which is what I usually tell people how long it takes me at the gym. I oftentimes find myself resting more, taking more water breaks, not being as focused. And that happens to a lot of us. And think about it at work. Like, you ever been at work and you didn't really have nothing specifically to do, but you work between the hours of this time and this time. So then you find yourself sending random emails. Then you find yourself stocking random things that don't need to be stocked. It's simply because we always want to, like the Parkinson law states, feel the amount of time for completion. We want to essentially feel like we are doing something. So we convince ourselves, oh, it's going to take me 4 hours to clean my room. During that 4-hour period, how many times did you stop and take a TV break? How many times did you stop and get something to eat? You needed a little snack, right? And yes, it did take you 4 hours, but if you would have stayed focused on that thing and time blocked it and said, I can only do this between this time and I have to get it done, you would be surprised how much stuff you can get done. And I think also it pushes you more because it makes you realize you are essentially greater than you think you are. Like, you can do more things faster and better and just all around essentially save yourself more time. And so using time blocking honestly has saved me between 5 to 6 hours a week because everything I do is more so laser focused. I'm making sure I do what I have to do. I'm not going on my phone. I'm not watching TV. I'm not doing anything that's going to distract me. And those distractions don't seem like a lot, but trust me, they are. Number 4, D&D and focus on your phone. These things are so important, and there's actually science behind it that proves the differentiation between you losing focus on the task, which often happens because your phone is available to you. Now, D&D and focus basically make sure that you're not getting any calls, you're not getting any texts, you're not getting any notifications during a time period where you have to complete a specific task. Now, I want to show you guys a graph here. As you can see, there's something that's more fragmented and then more that's focused on a specific task. And this is kind of bringing up the quality versus quantity when you do things. Now, if you see here, it says you did the task and then you start texting and then you answer emails and then everything is broken up, social media, all these things. But if you see on the bottom where you focus, it has longer brackets, i.e. you were focusing on something longer. Now, if you want to say yes, you probably can put those little, bars together and the task probably will equal the same. The emails probably will equal the same, different things like that. But it's not going to be the same versus quality, just quantity. The reason is because scientists have came up and found out it takes you approximately 23 minutes to get your focus back. So even though you may be focusing on a task or doing something or working, and then you check your email and then you go on social media and then you go back to the task, you can spend the same amount on the task as if you stayed with it the entire time, but you're not going to learn as much, you're not going to process as much, and you're not really going to digest it as much because it takes your brain approximately 23 minutes to regain focus. I want you to think about that. Think about how easy it is for your brain to lose focus. It takes about a couple seconds to a minute, which is why I always tell people, put your phone on D&D and focus when you have something you want to focus on. That's why it's hard for some individuals to work effectively. That's why it's hard for some individuals to essentially grasp things because you're not focusing on one thing. You're trying to do so many things at once. And it happens to me too, right? I'm a big advocate of Multitasking, like I said before, the habit stacking thing is great, but like I said, it's with things that you already know. If you are trying to start a new business, if you are trying to learn a new job, if you are trying to do something new, you need to focus on that thing. Just because you spent 40 minutes in 10-minute break, 10-minute sections working on something is not the same as spending 40 minutes doing it straight. Your brain has not processed it as much, you haven't learned as much, and it's just jumbled. And so that's why I feel like D&D and focus are so important. And there's something that I constantly keep on my phone. And this probably saves me about 4 hours a week, give or take. But honestly, I feel like it's something that's hard to put a specific time on, because focusing on things has helped me learn so much more, has helped me understand things so much more, that when I'm learning new things, I learn it even faster, because it's like I already get the concept, I already get how to do it. Give me the rest. And number 5, this is the 5-minute rule. So it's 2 ways to think about this rule. First, it's starting something for 5 minutes and just seeing what happens. So I often do this. And the reason why a lot of people don't do this is because we become adults and it becomes like a if then. If I do this, then I have to do that. No, just do it for 5 minutes and see what happens. For example, if you know you kind of don't really go to the gym, for 5 minutes, act like you're about to go to the gym, which means put on your gym clothes, put on your sneakers, fill up your water bottle, whatever you may do. And if 5 minutes after you don't want to do that thing, that's okay. Now, most of the time, once you start something for 5 minutes, such as read a book or put on your gym clothes, it's like all right, I might as well just do it. But sometimes you don't, and that's okay. But over time, once you get yourself into the habit of doing something for 5 minutes, I promise you will notice more times than not, that's when you actually complete something. It's the dread of like feeling like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this thing for 2 hours. Oh, I'm gonna have to do this thing for so long, that actually scares us into not even starting, right? We're more fearful of starting something than actually doing it. So get your body, get your mind into the habit of just starting something for 5 minutes. And like I said, you probably will do it for more than that, but if not, at least you started the repetition of starting. Now, there's another 5-minute rule that essentially says just do something for 5 minutes. Another problem that we have is we feel like we have to give 30 minutes, an hour, all this time to specific tasks, and you actually don't have to. It's so funny because we always complain that we don't have time, but then the little bits of time that we have, we don't use because we feel like it's not enough. For example, if you have 5 minutes until you have to go back to work, you're on your break and you're just sitting around, didn't you say you wanted to start that business? Why don't you start thinking of business names? For 5 minutes, literally just to write down business name. Didn't you say you wanted to be a designer? Okay, sketch up some designs. Didn't you say that you wanted to start getting into reading? Okay, look up some books on TikTok. Go on BookTok. Like, the idea is just capture something in that moment. And it doesn't have to be at a specific time either. I was watching a YouTube video, and when the man was talking about this topic, he was saying how you can start something at 4:48. Like, stop feeling like you have to stop things or start things at a specific time. You don't have to start something at 3:30. You don't have to start something at 2:45. You don't have to start something at 2 o'clock. Like, it could be 2:52 and you want to do something for 5 minutes because that's all the time that you have. That's fine. I don't know what kind of weird thing we have with like having a specific number, but you can do it at any time. And so that has honestly, this is probably the least amount of time thing has saved me, probably about an hour and 30 minutes a week, because it's just about getting things started as far as capturing things and just starting things and not like delaying them till later. But I feel like it's something that has had one of the greatest pushes, because starting is honestly the hardest part of anything in life. Like, you have to start something. So once I start getting myself in the habit of starting something without the expectation of doing it for a long time, starting something for only 5 minutes, or even little 5-minute fragments. Like, think about how many little 5-minute fragments you have in the day. You can find a book. You can find out where they have the book. You can find out a summary of the book. You can figure out, what's a business name for you. You could figure out what are some possible colors. Like, they don't seem like a lot because it's only 5 minutes, but I promise you that hour and 30 minutes adds up. And so that is the end of the video. Those are just 5 simple habits that I use every single week that save me approximately 20 plus hours a week. Now, think about what you could do with 20 plus hours a week. Like, you said you wanted to start that business. You said you wanted to start reading. You said you wanted to start working out. There's so much you can do with 20 plus hours a week. So I definitely recommend to start doing these habits. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys were able to take away any tangible tips that you can use inside of your life. So comment below and tell me if you like it, and have a great one.